Welcome to Illuminating Catholics, podcast of the Diocese of Sioux City. I'm Dawn Prosser, Director of Communications for the Diocese. Together with Carmen Bauer of the Faith Formation Office, we will shed light upon topics of faith in the modern church. Our guests include Catholic clergy, religious sisters, and other experts in their fields to help us understand what's happening in the church today. We will explore issues, even the tough ones, and to find answers to common questions about Catholicism. Thank you for joining us for today's Illuminating Catholics, shedding light to understand the modern church.
Thank you for tuning in to Illuminating Catholics, the podcast of the Diocese of Sioux City. My name is Carmen Bauer, and I am the Director of Faith Formation.
And I'm Dawn Prosser. I'm Director of Communications for the Diocese.
We are so happy that you've tuned in to today's episode. In our studio today, we are happy to welcome both Mary Lehr, Director of Faith Formation for Sacred Heart Parish in Sioux City, and Deacon Pat Brockhaus of Holy Cross Parish, also in Sioux City. Both are working with the Diocesan Office of Faith Formation to bring us a youth Lenten retreat called Into the Garden. It is scheduled for Sunday evening, April 6th at Sacred Heart Church. So welcome to Mary and then Deacon Pat.
Well, thank you so much for having us.
We're so glad to have you here. So in case people don't know who you are, don't know who that would be, we're going to have you both share a little bit about yourself. And first, I have to ask Mary, is Father Friedrichsen treating you okay?
Yes.
Okay.
They have great candy over there.
Oh, yeah.
Good. Go over there more.
Best chocolate.
They
Yeah.
do. We're known for it. We're known for it.
Yeah.
Kids are constantly coming in, and
I'm a big kid,
it's a
too.
draw.
You need to go visit Sacred Heart more often.
Yeah.
All are welcome.
All are welcome. Sacred Heart, Riverside, Sioux City. All right, Mary, can you share with us a little bit about yourself, your background, and about your ministry role where Father Tim treats you well at Sacred Heart?
There you go. Okay, so this is going to be short, Pat. So
You got 2 minutes.
2 minutes.
2.5 minutes.
All right, so been married for about, I think, 45 years to my husband, Mark. We have 6 kids, and I was a stay-at-home mom for several years. Then when my youngest was just about ready to head into preschool, I headed into that direction and became a preschool teacher for 10 years. And then after that, I think I'm hitting the 10-year mark for church ministry, too. So I must like 10s.
You must.
I don't know.
But you don't have 10 kids.
No.
Anyway.
Darn. That would have kept it going. So I've been working at Sacred Heart here for the last
10 years.
Not quite. We're shooting for 10. That's what we're shooting for 10. I'm the Director of Faith Formation over there.
You're kind of a taking care of all things kind of person, too, because when we reach out, you help us. So I'll just throw that in there since you're being humble.
I like variety.
You like variety. She's the go-to person there. So, Deacon, you apparently get 2.5 minutes as well. If you want to share with us.
I don't think that was 2.5 minutes.
Yeah, it was good.
Well, maybe she's giving you some
Well,
more
I do
time.
Catholic radio. We and Brother Dennis and Deacon Joe do. They're fundraisers. So we talk for an hour.
Oh, my goodness.
I know, that's crazy. I could probably talk about this for an hour, but no.
We'll cut you off. We generally go about half an hour.
Oh.
But do you want to share with us a little bit about your background and your ministry?
So I've been married for 37 years, and to my wife Patty, got 2 kids. I've been ordained since 2021, so 4 years coming up.
Mm-hmm.
June, June coming up. Yeah. So anyway, been a great ride for me being a deacon. It's just been and the ministries that we do stay pretty busy. I guess with crazy how I started this Edge group. It started before the diaconate. Actually, I was in the diaconate. I was in formation, and I was it was on the Stations of the Cross. It was on a Friday, and I got there before everybody shows up, and I was just sitting there praying, and I go, Lord, what is it that you want me to do? And that's when Holy Cross, so at St. Michael Church site. So anyway, Lord, what do you want me to do? I'm information, got some stuff going on. And Father David Heyman comes walking across, he stops. It's just me and him. He looks at me and he says, "You're starting a youth group." And he turned around and he walked away. And I was like, "Huh, wow, that was kind of weird. I guess I got my answer." I was like, "Wow, that's a cool answer." But now I was like, "How in the heck you start a youth group?" So anyway, it was, we started a youth group with Father David. It was just a rough haul. It was rough. Things were just not going very smooth. And we were doing high school kids, and high school kids are rough. And they're very busy, and it's tough getting that going. And then, so we kind of dropped that out. But then the Benedictine sisters moved into Holy Cross Parish. That was stellar. So I ended up talking to Sister Fidelis Marie. They were coming to daily mass, and I seen her, and finally I just went up to her. I said, "Hey, what do you know about youth groups?" And she's like, "Oh, well, actually, I come here because I'm trying to get out of them." But I'm like, she goes, "I'll help you." I'm like, "Perfect." So we started the Edge group, and it's been a great haul with her. She had great insights how to start it, and so everything went well with that. And then she ended up leaving. Sorry to say she left. Had other arrangements going on. She's the vocations director. And then we brought in Kylie Novak, and she just filled her spot just beautifully. So the Edge program, we were started at 6th, 7th, and 8th. And it seems like our 8th graders are getting hard to come in. So then now we're dropping down to 5th, 6th, 7th. And we still do 8th. But that's kind of how we started the Edge program. And it seems like kids today want more. They don't want a classroom setting. Kids want to be, they want to be involved. It seems like we get more involvement in community service. So Edge, we do food bank. We've done fed burritos at the warming shelter. They just love that kind of stuff. So I guess that's how I got into the youth ministry. And plus, I've been a prep teacher or a CCD teacher, however you want to say it, since 2004. And that was another calling that I had that I said yes to, and the Lord brought me into being a prep teacher. So
if the Lord answers you that quickly on all your questions, can I send you some?
I don't know if that'll happen that fast.
Dawn's got a couple questions. Thank you so much.
Well, that's excellent. I know that you both do so much to serve the youth in our city. And so today we are talking about the Into the Garden retreat that is coming up. So can you just tell us a little bit about how we got to this point, maybe how those conversations started and why you are both a part of that planning process?
Well, it started with Danielle, right? She came over to Sacred Heart, and she wanted to know if I'd be interested in being a part of this. Well, it wasn't Into the Garden, I don't think, yet. And I went, I'm in, And then she asked, is there anyone else that you think?
Thanks,
and as we can see, the passion that Pat has for dealing with the youth. So he just does a very good job, and I thought he would be really fun to work with. And so she asked you, and you said?
It took a while.
Did it?
It did. So it was crazy because, I'm so involved in ministries. And my wife, Patty, tries to keep me in check. Like, hey, you should watch it. And I do. I listen to her because sometimes I say a lot of yeses and then I overbook myself. So anyway, I was telling her about this and that they wanted me to be the MC. And she goes, so what do you think? I'm like, I don't know. She goes, well, I think you need to do it. I don't even know why you're even thinking about this. Just say yes. I'm like, what? Here I'm sitting there thinking that.
She's going to talk out of
right,
another
answer. Oh, she's going to be a little negative Nelly. Like, I probably shouldn't. And I was like, yeah. So it was me and her. I mean, she drove me to it. So it was, and I'm glad I did. I'm glad I said yes because it has been. Working with Danny and Mary is we have fun, and it's just a great joy. And then, we bring that energy and joy, and hopefully we bring that to the kids and then the planning as well. So,
right.
Yeah, definitely. So Danielle Fennessy, she's one of the coordinators for the Faith Formation Department, and we're kind of transitioning our regions, but she was working with the Sioux City region. I'm so glad that she's had the opportunity to work with both of you, and I know that she brought you the idea, Mary. We very specifically kind of prayed about that, and you had come to mind, and we have Steve Agrizzano coming for the men's conference on that Saturday, and while he was in the area, we thought, well, wouldn't it be neat to be able to have him, speak to youth as well, because he is very good at that and very well known for that. So how did you guys take that idea and then develop it into this theme called Into the Garden? How did you get to that point? And I guess what has that process looked like?
Well, and she was talking, the time of year was Lent. So when she said into the garden, it was like I just had a picture right away. And then right after that, got on Canva because I like creating. And so I got on there and I saw that and I thought, oh, yeah, that's just definitely would be the theme for kids.
And I think it's, and you know what? I mean, it is. It's Lenten season, into the garden. It's like, man, Jesus knows what he's going through, right? He knew what was going to happen. And yet he said, Lord, it's your will, not mine, right? And we could just get the kids to feel that energy of, yeah, just do God's will, right? And to direct them and lead them into that.
Right.
That say yes, let's do it, right?
Right.
So yeah. But then we added something else. You added, what was your question that we want to ask today?
Yeah, well, the thing that just kept coming to me was, who do you say that I am in the midst of that? You know, each of us, all who were a part of going into the garden, he could ask that question to each individual person. Because when I was praying about the retreat, the importance was each person is an individual, and whoever shows up that day has been called individually as a person, and that God will come to each and every one as an individual, and that each person can say, who do you say that I am? And be able to answer that question.
Yeah, I think that's beautiful when you brought that in. It's like, yeah.
Because each person's in a different place,
Exactly.
right?
We're all in a different, we're in a different spot. We're in a different relationship with the Lord. And, where are we going next? Who do you say that I am? What direction are we going?
Right.
So, yeah, I think it's beautiful. Awesome
Yeah.
question.
It's interesting as you're talking. I know this is an audio show. However, that is an actual photo on the wall here in our studio of the Garden of Gethsemane.
Oh, did you guys just put that there?
Every week we change it.
I knew it.
But I'm looking at you both in my eyes. I mean, it's like right in the background as I'm looking at you while you're talking. So I was listening to what you said. I just wanted to point out.
Well, and I love that because kids are so, drawn. They're visual. They love that imagery. And so often it's, anything we can do to connect them to the liturgical year, to form them in a way that they can return to that place every year in their life and maybe go with a little more depth. And I think that idea of introducing them to this imagery and to that question really, I hope, invites them in a very personal way into that part of Lent, into Holy Week.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Great opportunity. So let's talk about a little bit of the nuts and bolts, maybe for some people that haven't seen some of the promo stuff that has been put out thus far. So who's your target audience? Who do you hope to attract? What ages? What areas?
So it'll be 6 through 12.
Okay.
Middle school, high school.
And is it open to everyone in the
That
diocese?
silence.
Everyone in the diocese, or if someone happens to creep across the river?
All are welcome.
All are welcome. Same as Sacred Heart. Okay.
But I do think that's important, that even though it's being hosted at Sacred Heart, part of, bringing in another parish leader and a deacon was, to make sure that everybody knows that they're a part of this through the planning, but also that all youth are welcome to come.
We're better together.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Yes. And it's great for youth to maybe make some connections regionally as well. If, you want to travel 20, 30 minutes and come on over.
And bring their Protestant friends. I mean, you know what I mean? It doesn't...
Lent is Lent.
Exactly, right?
That's
Christ-based.
Yep.
Bring them. And if they're struggling, bring them. And maybe they'll have an encounter. And I mean, maybe we can show them how to have an encounter with Christ and to lead them closer to Him. Really.
Right.
Yeah.
To kind of open up the base of people that might consider coming. And again, you don't have to be living in Sioux City to do this. So what if you are only 20, 30 minutes away or a little bit further? Can this serve as a possible confirmation retreat, do you think? I'm not a youth leader.
Well, that's what we're doing
Okay.
at Sacred Heart.
There you go.
I just think, again, I mean, it's who do you say that I am? Definitely could be confirmation, Holy Spirit, and we have a lot of people praying for this.
Yeah.
And I don't know, it's like what I said to Danielle. I said, you know what, I'm just saying the Holy Spirit's going to show up.
Oh, yeah.
So that's pretty confirmation.
Sounds good to me. And along those same
Power of
lines.
the Holy Spirit. Mm-hmm.
So how are you going to carry out your theme in the different activities? And if you want to name a few of those activities, if people haven't seen that yet, what the students would be participating in.
What were the activities? I don't know, why are you looking at me?
Well, because I thought you wanted to try.
No, well, I
So I
can
was
take a
giving
turn.
you that.
We're doing bracelets.
No fighting.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're doing rosary bracelets.
We're doing rose.
Yeah,
Yes.
that was actually my idea. I can't believe I come up with something.
Excellent.
That's fine.
And then, so anyway, so
Trivia. We're doing trivia. And Danielle's definitely, she's bringing in the theme.
She is
in
a
that.
Yeah,
trivia masters.
and I think we're having. What else we doing? We're
Foods. We're having food.
doing food. Station of the Cross.
Yes.
There will be adoration. There will be. I think they have 7 priests
Yeah, I was round in there.
for reconciliation.
Right.
Yeah, something like that. I think.
So we're going to be changing it up. It's going to be.
Absolutely.
It's going to go fast and.
And then having Steve part of that whole program is
Okay.
just, man, I've gone through to I don't know, four Steubenvilles. I think he's probably been at a couple of them. Guy's he's on fire. He's
Yeah.
money.
And the
right?
Christ Our Life conference. He's
Oh,
always
absolutely.
there.
Yeah.
Always leading that. So.
And he does. He gets you to, in his music and his words. He just gets you to think, and he just opens your mind up to just allow Christ to come in and flow with that. It's
Well,
beautiful.
that's right. Because it's Steubenville. I mean, I always
Yeah.
say to people, they ask me, what's the difference with the Steubenville experience? Because we often say, bring the kids to a Steubenville experience. So we're getting that here, and this is a gift. This is a gift for our
Yeah.
area to be able.
You don't have to drive
kids to
7 hours to go to
experience.
Steubenville.
7 was longer than that, wasn't it? Like
Springfield? That's 7, 8. Oh, yeah, 9 hours.
9
9 hours in a bus.
Well, in the diocese, to come into the garden, you will not have to drive that
You
far
won't have
to experience
It is in our neighborhood.
Steve Angersano. Who,
Well, that's a great point to make that connection for parents who are listening who have sent a child to Steubenville, that if they've really enjoyed those speakers, this is a man who speaks at several of those
That's
every
right.
year. And
Yeah.
he is a very dynamic and
Yeah.
gifted speaker.
Absolutely. Yeah. So for me, having the confirmation retreat, it was just, that's just great. I couldn't find anything better. So you can definitely do that.
and you did say Steve would be offering some music as well as part of this.
Yeah.
Worship, praise and worship.
Praise and worship. Absolutely. He's going to get me to cry. I cry like certain songs.
You bring
right?
your hanky.
We will have photographers
God.
on
I
site.
know.
Opens up the door. That's what it does. Praise
Yeah,
and
but,
worship
you're doing
opens
that
up
with
the door.
adoration. It's just, right? It's just, sometimes it's just beautiful, and that draws kids. Being at Steubenville and watching, right? Well, right.
Draws
Right,
me.
it draws me. I'm just sobbing. There's kids. Some are just like, what's this old guy slobbing right there? But it is. It's just the music and with Jesus being in the monstrance. It's just
Yeah.
it is a beautiful moment, and I think the kids really love that. I found even in Edge, kids like sitting in adoration. Now they don't want to go crazy. They're not there to sit for hours.
Right.
You give them a half hour, 45 minutes. That's a good amount of time, and they're ready to move on.
Well, as you mentioned earlier in the show, that high schoolers are busy. They're really, really
Yeah.
busy and overscheduled. And as I've been in this position a bit longer, I hear more and more about how students really like adoration. And maybe that's why they can just shut down for a little bit and concentrate on their faith and concentrate on the Lord. So it's...
Yeah, I think you said that right, Dawn. Is to shut down, just to get rid
Quiet.
of some noise and just
Quiet.
quiet. So silence is so huge.
They probably don't have a lot of quiet.
No, right?
Probably don't have that.
Well, and one of the resources that I know Danielle has been working on is a journal that they'll be
Right.
using during adoration, but I love that because they'll be able to take that with them. So this theme of Into the Garden and entering into Holy Week, they'll be given a resource that they can continue to use that week. And I think that's so important with the formation
is,
of youth,
yeah.
of not just one-time events, but what can we give you in this moment that you can continue to apply and use in your life.
Right. Yes.
So what would you say, because sometimes it's the parents that get this registration happening, what would you say to parents to convince their child
Make
come
them
to
do
this.
it.
Yeah.
I don't know, dude.
Well,
I was
really,
just- I thought
step
I was
out in faith
kidding.
in it with expectation. Really, expectation that God will show up and that their child will experience and have a powerful experience within it.
Yeah.
Well, and I love that you say that because when you register your children for something like this, pray for them.
Yes.
Pray that their hearts are prepared for the
Yes.
moments that lay ahead of them and how God wants to encounter them and reach out to them.
Well, Danielle reached out to the Carmelites and asked them to pray, and we have got some of our groups praying at Sacred Heart. Everyone listening here could certainly pray for them. And when we went to the Eucharistic Congress this last summer, they said that how many were praying for that, and that was an amazing event. And so many people were touched. In fact, I don't think there was anybody there that wasn't touched. And the praying prior, I think, is very, very important. It's preparing, helping to prepare their hearts before they get there.
So everybody has homework that's
Yes.
listening.
Yes.
Yeah.
Please
Praying.
do pray.
Yeah.
Well, and I would also encourage parents because, sometimes in our parish offices, we don't always have the best contact to organize a group like this. Our DREs are spread thin. Not everybody has a youth minister. But, if you're a parent who would want to take, your child and a few of their friends, don't be afraid to talk to your pastor about maybe helping organize a parent or a parish group, so that more kids can come. And if that's the one thing you
Right.
do that year, you don't have to be somebody who's always helping at the parish. But in this moment, that would be a great service for your children and their friends.
Yeah, right.
The more students that go, I think the more meaningful and the more fun.
Yeah,
it will
right.
be.
Right.
And if you're trying to encourage your kids to go to Steubenville, things like this can be very good stepping stones
That's
towards
true.
that
Absolutely.
experience.
You're right. Yeah, that's right.
Give them a
Because they
little
may
taste
not
of it.
know what they're going to.
Yes.
Give them a
Right.
taste
Right.
of it.
Yeah, 3 days away from home. This is only 4 hours away from
Yeah.
home. So.
No beach balls, though.
No.
Not yet. I was going to
Okay.
say,
You've
you
got
guys have a
time.
few weeks of planning. I believe that you guys could incorporate beach balls if you want.
know
Could you
what?
We could
love
donate
beach
some
balls?
beach
I'm
balls.
the beach ball guy.
You are the beach ball guy.
Last year I went to Steubenville. They said no beach balls. I'm like, what?
Aww.
Yep, they want beach balls. Beach balls. So.
Aww.
I don't know. We'll have to talk to
To be announced. Beach
Father Frederickson can
to
make
be
his own.
announced.
Yeah, see if we can have beach balls. I don't know.
To be announced.
In the
Stay
parish.
tuned.
Yes, stay tuned.
about that.
Get little ones.
Yeah.
One year I had
Tiny.
a 4-foot one, and I had one of the healing boys blow this thing up. I thought he was going to pass out. I was like, all right, that's a bad idea. No 4-foot beach ball.
That gives me a headache just thinking about that. Wow.
That's funny.
So speaking of registration, so what is the cost per student for the event?
It is $20.
$20. And how would one register, be it individual or as a parish group?
You can go to your parish and get registered that way, or you can go to, I typed in Sioux City Diocese into the garden and you get there.
Yes.
And it has everything
Right
in it.
on.
Even has, Danielle did a little video.
She did a video.
So it just
We will-
explains.
we'll-
Easy peasy.
Put a link in the show notes to both the registration and Danielle's video.
Yeah.
Leave no stone unturned. Show them how to register on the site. Yeah, we'll include that link in there.
That's perfect,
Yeah,
yeah.
you're right. cdiocese.org/into the garden.
Yep.
I keep wanting to say in the garden, but I have to add into
Into.
the garden. Is there a specific deadline, or is that
March 14th.
okay? All right. So we will get this on the air ahead of
And
that.
if you show up at the door, I'm pretty sure we're not going to kick you out.
That's right.
I mean, it'd be just.
You'll have a little extra food.
We just want to make sure that way we have a head count. How much food?
Yeah.
Because we will feed
Give us
them,
an idea.
right?
Yeah.
And they'll have in their little bags. They have little take-home bags
Yes.
that have their
Mm-hmm.
journal in it and some other little gizmo thingies.
Sounds great.
Gizmo thingies.
They're going to be so special.
Wow. Right?
And it's just 4 to 8 that evening, correct?
It is.
Correct.
That's
Yeah.
really nice
Yeah,
timing as
it
well.
is.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
Ooh, and I forgot to add,
Best of the best.
we are bringing in the sisters.
Oh,
The
that's
sisters will be there.
right.
Which
So,
sisters?
From Norfolk, the
Oh.
Benedictine ministry. So I talked to Sister Fidelis, me and her buddied up. She couldn't make it, but she is sending Sister Sarah Elizabeth, and then other two postulants.
Okay.
So they are showing up.
Neat.
So one's Cynthia, which I met, and then I don't know who the other one is. So anyway,
That's awesome.
right. It's Danny brought up about the bring back the wolves,
Oh, yes, that's a different Thursday.
right? And then and I watched it, and I was like, yes, let's bring back the wolves.
Yes.
I was fired up.
That's a whole
Yeah,
other
that is a different
podcast.
We need an explainer here for the wolf.
There was a podcast, I believe on Matt Fradd's podcast, where they talk about the importance of sisters in forming vocations and praying for vocations. And I don't remember how they got to that part of the podcast conversation, but we start with the sisters, and from there, other vocations really flourish from their prayer and that feminine spirituality. But yeah, it's one of they referred to them as
It was the wolves. 'Cause
The wolves.
They brought
Yellowstone?
Yes.
National
Oh,
Park.
yes. They brought back the wolves, and
The
it brought
wolves were gone,
And it
and it
told-
just took everything out, and it wasn't.
the wolves
totally
maintained
changed
the
land.
ecosystem. So
Right.
when they when the
Yeah.
wolves returned, the rest of the ecosystem was healthy again.
Yeah.
So
Balance.
these same ideas, if we can support female vocation,
Yeah.
bring back the wolves.
Yeah, so
our
it's just,
Catholic
like-
ecosystem can be sustained by their prayer and
Yeah.
Picturing a logo.
Yes, yes.
T-shirts for this.
This we discovered this on our staff retreat. I don't remember who told us about it, but yeah, we just haven't been able to stop talking about
Yeah.
it since
Yeah.
then.
Yeah.
It's such beautiful imagery.
So that's
That's what I was like. Yeah, let's grab the system.
Yeah,
Get the wolves
you
back.
did it. You
Yeah.
did it. You did a touchdown on that one.
Yeah.
Well, thank you both to Deacon Brockhaus and Mary for joining us this afternoon. I have served, my coordinators work with different regions and groups around the diocese and planning events, and I have to say your collaboration seems so lively.
This podcast is any indication.
Yes, it is so fun whenever Danny comes back and gives me updates because I just never know what to expect. It really is just so fun to see, and I know that you guys both bring tremendous value to those conversations, and I think that's incredible. So we thank our listeners for taking the time to listen to us. If you have kids, grandkids, anyone in that 6th to 12th grade age range, we'd definitely encourage you to register them for Into the Garden. And thank you for following Illuminating Catholics, and be sure to subscribe so you don't miss a single episode.
Thank you for listening to this episode of Illuminating Catholics, shedding light to understand the modern church. Follow us for more episodes on topics of the Catholic faith. For more diocesan news, visit lumenmedia.org.